All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. When New England Patriots team owner Robert Kraft made the decision that it was time to move on from Bill Belichick as his head coach, he knew that he wanted Jerod Mayo to be the guy. Mayo was a first round pick of the Patriots back in 2008, and he spent his entire 8-year playing career in the NFL in New England. Now, Mayo has been on Belichick's coaching staff since 2019 as he's worked with the linebackers. He's very respected by the current players on that team. And I think that is going to bode well for him as he's transitioning into being the franchise's head coach. He's going to be the 16th head coach in the Patriots franchise history, while also being one of the youngest in the National Football League heading into next season. But again, going back to the respect factor, Mayo is respected beyond his years within the Patriots organization, and this is what Robert Kraft wanted. Now, during Kraft's tenure as the team owner of the New England Patriots, he's had a knack for finding the right head coaches. You figure he inherited Bill Parcells, and together they did get to the Super Bowl at the end of the 1996 season, replaced him with Pete Carroll, and he did have two trips to the playoffs with Pete Carroll as his head coach. And then from there, of course, with Bill Belichick, for all of these years, and now Jerod Mayo. So, nonetheless, he has had his knack of getting his guys. CJ, what's going on? It's been a while. How are you doing there? But again, Kraft, keeping Mayo to me for Kraft more than likely means, in my opinion, that the defensive strategy for the Patriots is probably going to remain among the same. And that's not a bad thing because you think about the Patriots, even in these lean years, the last couple of years, they've still been pretty good defensively. Their issues have been on the offensive side of the ball. And right now, there's only one way to go for the Patriots on offense, and that's up. You're talking about a New England team that was 30th in yards per game in the National Football League, and they were tied with the Carolina Panthers for the least amount of points, uh, per game this season. New England scored less than 14 points per game. That's not going to cut it. I don't care who you are. I mean, you think about it. They lost the game to the Colts 10-6. They lost the game to the Giants 10-7. They lost the game to the Chargers 6-0. These were in 3 consecutive weeks, and then they finished it up by just scoring 3 points against the Jets to end Bill Belichick's tenure with the Pats. CJ, I'm doing pretty good. And you know what? I'm just like you. I'm waiting for baseball season. And it's one of those, it's right around the corner. And I do know that basically, as soon as the Super Bowl is over, pitchers and catchers are set to report there. But nonetheless, talking about this Patriots offense, they have an opportunity to turn this thing around if they do it right, not only with the draft, but the coaches on offense. They have to have the right coaches. And I say this because New England owns the third overall pick. More than likely, that's going to be used on one of these quarterbacks. And you can have a solid quarterback prospect come into your organization. It's going to come down to the coaches that are around said player in order to develop him. I'm not saying that Mac Jones could have been the next coming of John Elway, but I don't think that Bill Belichick, really did him any favors the last couple of years as far as the coaches that he had around him on offense. Now, at first, you had Josh McDaniels, and Josh McDaniels, for what it's worth, as bad as he was as a head coach in the National Football League, he's been pretty solid over the years as a Patriots offensive coordinator. And you could see that there was something there with him and Mac Jones. But of course, when you bring in Joe Judge and Matt Patricia to work on offense, that was a recipe for disaster. And then by that point, by the point you bring in Bill O'Brien, I think Mac Jones was just broken at that point. So it's going to be very important who the New England Patriots put around a quarterback, because I strongly do believe that they are taking a quarterback in round number one. So another question: will Mayo go with youth or experience on his coaching staff? We got to wait and see. But we do know that Robert Kraft wanted to retain uh, Bill Belichick's two sons that were on the coaching staff. So that's going to be very interesting going forward. All signs point to the Patriots more than likely hiring a general manager. I don't foresee a scenario where Jerod Mayo is going to be head coach slash de facto general manager, a la Bill Belichick. But at the end of the day, Kraft just wants the Patriots to get back to their winning ways, as the last 4 years have not been good for him. And I mean, you think about it, since Robert Kraft purchased this team back in 1994, 1995, okay, 2020, 2022, and 2023. Those are the only years where the New England Patriots have had a losing record on Robert Kraft's watch. And for what it's worth, since he purchased the New England Patriots, no franchise in the National Football League has won more Super Bowls than the Patriots. No franchise in the NFL has made more Super Bowl appearances than the 10 that the Patriots have made on the watch of Robert Kraft. And I think he wants to get back to those winning ways. There's going to be a transition period, of course, from Bill Belichick to Jerod Mayo. We know that, but I think the sky's the limit, in my opinion, for him with New England, due to the fact that I feel that Robert Kraft and his son Steven, in my opinion, are going to do their part to give Jerod Mayo all of the resources necessary for him to succeed. So that's the thing. You look at an organization and it starts from the top. And winning championships, it's not an accident, regardless of the sport. So I look at this, I think it's going to be a transition period. I think this is what the Patriots needed. No disrespect to Bill Belichick, but I think they needed a new voice in that coaching, birth, if you will, perch, if you will. They needed a new beacon, if you will, to lead this organization. And I think Jerod Mayo can be the guy. I still think it's going to come down to who they get as their quarterback, because in this day and age in the National Football League, you cannot talk about winning championships unless you have that guy uh, at quarterback. And of course, for 2 decades, the New England Patriots had that guy at quarterback. And of course, the rest was history. So, how will things work out for Jerod Mayo as the head coach of the Patriots? I think he has a potential to do some big things. Clearly, you're talking about replacing a legend. And I know that Jerod Mayo is going to hear a lot about that, win or lose, during his time as Patriots head coach. But I think the best thing for him, he just has to go out there and be the best Jerod Mayo that he could possibly be, and not, worry about trying to replace Bill Belichick. But nonetheless, it's the dawn of a new era for the New England Patriots football organization. And let's see how things turn with Jerod Mayo as their head coach. So, folks, that's going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365 that you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. CJ, as always, it was a pleasure. The hot stove has been cold as of late, which is why I haven't been talking as much baseball as I normally would. But nonetheless, definitely keep me on the radar, as I should have something soon. But nonetheless, folks, I'm William Martin saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I'm signing off, and I'm telling each and every one of you out there to be safe and be well. Take care, everybody.